Hey everybody, Brian here with So Wizard. Being that I'm still the new guy, I wanted to do my top 10 list for you guys this year. These are my 10 favorite movies of the year. Doesn't mean that the 10 best, just the 10 that I liked the most. I haven't seen everything, the biggest one being A Complete Unknown. I'm seeing that in about 2 hours. If it's fantastic, I'll make someone add a note. At number 10, I have a Nora, a movie that I watched solely off the recommendation of Jeremy Johns. Following a 23-year-old stripper that marries into a wealthy Russian family and the chaos that follows when the family finds out about it. Fun isn't really the right word for it, but they're good performances all around. Mikey Madison's getting a lot of, awards contention from the role. Reminded me a little bit of like a darker version of Risky Business and Pretty Woman. Good modern spin to it. And if you have the opportunity, I think it's worth checking out, especially when it comes out on streaming or physical. At number 9, I have Challengers, the first of 2 Zendaya flicks on this list that was poorly marketed because all I remember from the trailer is I'm pretty sure MJ from Spider-Man is going to have a threesome. Following the surprisingly interesting soap opera-like drama about a love triangle between Zendaya's character Tashi and the 2 men that battle for her on and off court, Patrick and Art. Zendaya openly said in interviews that she made this movie to establish that she's becoming more adult. She wants to have more roles outside Spider-Man. She's in a lot of stuff coming out, but she has a great time in this one. But the biggest takeaway from this was the score. Trent Reznor and Atticus Fish, just give them the Oscars, give them all the awards for it now. These are the guys that made computer hacking interesting and sound epic from The Social Network. All around worth seeing. Number 8, we have Late Night with the Devil, and this one is just a combo of everything I love about horror. It's a period piece. It's a found footage movie that doesn't annoy me. It's a good slow burn. It has paranormal aspects. Just checks every box perfectly. Starring David, I'm not even going to attempt his last name because I'm not going to butcher it. But you know the guy. He's in everything from Ant-Man. He's in The Dark Knight. He's in Oppenheimer. He was Polka Dot Man in Gunn Suicide Squad, which made a joke of a villain completely compelling. He plays a struggling Johnny Carson knockoff. In order to boost ratings on Halloween night in 1977, he has a Halloween special with an allegedly possessed young girl as his special guest. And from there, shit just goes off the rails. Don't want to go too into it, spoil anything. But if you haven't checked this one out yet, the ending is absolutely crazy, and I just give them huge props for being the first found footage movie since Cloverfield I haven't hated with a passion. Number 7 was an animated movie I watched with the wife, The Wild Robot. It's got a stacked cast. It's got everyone from Pedro Pascal, Ving Rhames, to Mark Hamill. Lupita Nyong'o, probably butchering that last name too, was the main one. It's about a robot stranded on an island where she has to protect wildlife, particularly an orphan goose that she feels responsible for. It's a fun time. I honestly think that it was, I wouldn't say recommended. I have a friend that's in animation, Aaron, that just DM'd me every day asking if I'd watched it yet. But I would probably put this up there with best animated stuff I've seen. Maybe double feature it with Iron Giant, get all the feels. Definitely watch this one. At number 6, it's Inside Out 2. And it's Pixar. It's Pixar when it's trying. It made over $1 billion. You don't need to tell me anything about this movie. First Inside Out was incredible. This one is not as good, but it's still probably on par with. Good job, Pixar. Go back to making great movies. I don't need 6 Toy Stories and 5 Cars movies. Number 5, The Substance. If Late Night with the Devil was found footage period piece horror done well, The Substance is body horror done right. Great performances from Demi Moore and Margot Qualley. Saw this one after all the buzz on social media, all the clips that leaked. I did have the ending body horror aspect of it ruined for me, but it's so good based off the performances alone. It reminded me a lot of like The Fly or The Thing when it comes to aspects of body horror. Just super happy to have this one come up. I'm glad it's getting the attention it deserves. At number 4, unsurprisingly, Deadpool and Wolverine. It's obviously going to make the list. It was 10 when I dragged my dad to see the first X-Men in theaters, and from there, Hugh Jackman's Wolverine just became the coolest dude ever until we got into the MCU era of things. I never thought he'd want to come back. I thought Logan was a perfect ending. I thought I would hate it, but everything just kind of worked from the initial moment of Ryan Reynolds addressing how they were going to handle the Logan aspect by just desecrating the corpse and moving on from there. It was great to see the costume finally, but honestly, the biggest moment of awesome for me was when they got Daphne Keane, Jen Garner, Channing Tatum, and surprisingly Wesley Snipes all back in their respective roles. Really glad this one did well at the box office. Marvel's needed a win for a while, and I'm really hoping that they don't ruin this reestablished credibility and dump 3 movies on us just to get ready for an Avengers movie that I don't think anyone wants or needs. Because they'd never do that, right? Right? Number 3, technically a 2023 movie, but Netflix didn't drop it on us until 2024, so Hitman. I like Glenn Powell. All right. I like Richard Linklater, because if he never makes Slacker, Kevin Smith never sees Slacker and never makes Clerks, and if Kevin Smith never makes Clerks, I probably don't sit in front of my laptop making best of lists for you people. So it's by the associate property, has to be on there. But honestly, Powell is great in the role. Really glad that he's kind of developing out from the success of Top Gun Maverick and going off and doing his own thing. It was great in Twisters this year, but the fact that he plays so many different characters because he's always undercover is what gave this one the edge over Twisters. Love the chemistry he had with his co-star. It's a fun surprise, little indie film that's on Netflix, definitely worth your time. Number 2, Nosferatu, and surprisingly, this one's dividing people. I saw it early, I loved it, I was sitting on it for about a month, but now as my friends see it, I'm finding that they either love it or they hate it. I thought it was fantastic. Edgar's, giving us back that great atmospheric, gory horror, completely stacked cast. Aaron Taylor Johnson, thank God you had this to counterbalance Kraven the Hunter this year. But Bill Skarsgård is just crushing the villain game, and he is talking about possibly being the Joker in the DCU, since Andy Muschietti, who he worked with on It, is going to be directing that, provided James Gunn's telling the truth about that and isn't going to cancel it or just delay it 6 years like the Batman 2. But hey, Nosferatu, in my opinion, definitely worth watching. Just know what you're getting into. Don't go in expecting Saw, go in expecting atmospheric horror. And at number 1, unsurprisingly, if you know me, Dune Part 2. A sequel that is on par with Empire, T2, Dark Knight. Like, everything is just elevated so well in Dune Part 2. I like Part 1, but it's a bit slow. But that's so Part 2 can just take off sprinting. Denis Villeneuve, Greg Fraser give us some of the most breathtaking shots of the year. I drove to Providence 3 times to see this in 70 millimeters because it's absolutely gorgeous. Even on my 60-inch TV, I have 4K player, good cables. Don't have an Atom-style theater, but like everything just looks so good in this movie. Kind of bummed it's not getting more awards love. It's only nominated for a couple of things. Hopefully Greg can't win Best Cinematography because he won it for Dune Part 1. So we'll see exactly where it comes. But the more interesting thing for me was watching Timothée take Paul down this inevitable journey and ending on such a dour, bitter note. That makes me super excited to see where Denis brings Messiah and how he's going to wrap up his trilogy. But yeah, Dune Part 2, easily favorite movie of the year. That's it. That's my 10 list. I'll probably do a worst of lists, and I might do a most anticipated list. Thank you all for watching. It's been really great coming in, becoming a part of So Wizard. Adam, Joey, thank you for the opportunity. Looking forward to making more content for you guys in 2025.